How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Video Games. I'm Sal, and today we are here to go over 3DS emulation on the Retroid Pocket 5. This will be a deep dive into the emulator Azahar on the Retroid Pocket 5 that runs your 3DS games. And also, I want to explain why I think this is a great alternative to purchasing an actual 3DS through places like eBay. With the high prices of the 3DS recently, I think this is a much better budget option with the Retroid Pocket 5 retailing for around $220. You're looking at spending maybe $400 for an actual physical 3DS. And then if you want to buy games for the 3DS, good luck because those games are so expensive. Without further ado, let's get into this 3DS emulation deep dive for the Retroid Pocket 5. So here we are on the Retroid Pocket 5, and the first thing we have to do, of course, is go to the Azahar application. As you see, all my 3DS games are here. A lot of amazing games here that I still need to play because I've only put about 30-ish minutes into some of these. So what you first want to do is go to the Play Store. We need to go to the search option here, and we are looking for Azahar. There we have the Azahar emulator on the Play Store. I already have this installed, so I do not need this, but this is where you would download that emulator. This is probably the easiest emulator to set up on the Retroid Pocket. One of the biggest problems I see people come across when it comes to the Azahar emulator on the Retroid Pocket 5 is getting the emulator to recognize your ROM files. So if you have them in .3ds file formats, you're going to need to rename those to CCI. You could do that on your PC, or you could also do it on your Retroid Pocket 5. I just wanted to let you guys know that in case you guys can't get the emulator to recognize those ROM files. I just changed it back to .3ds. That way I could copy this exact game onto my Retroid Pocket 5 and show you guys how to change the name on the RP5. So now we're going to have to connect the Retroid Pocket 5 to your PC. So you connect it through USB-C cable, and then we're going to select File Transfer. So once that is selected, now we're going to go back to the PC. Here on your PC, you'll see the Retroid Pocket 5 will come up on the left side here. We're going to go to the RP5 memory, go to ROMs, find 3DS, and then we're going to paste that ROM file here. Then you'll get the prompt that the ROM file is copying over to your Retroid Pocket 5, and just let this finish. Once the ROM file is finished, you could go ahead and disconnect the RP5, go into the files folder here, and we're going to go to the top left, go down to the RP5 micro SD. Then we're going to go down to ROMs. Now let's head down to find 3DS. Let's back up a bit. N3DS folder there. Make sure you go into it. Before we change the name, let's go back into Azahar. And as you see, the 7th Dragon game is not anywhere here because it is in .3ds file format. Let's head back to the file manager. We're going to need to hold down on that 7th Dragon ROM file. Then we're going to need to select the 3 little dots on the right upper corner. Head down to rename. From here, we're going to need to backspace on the 3DS, and you're going to want to type in CCI. Then hit done, and now it is a CCI file format. And we're going to close this out. Go back to Azahar, refresh all the games here. And as you see, 7th Dragon 3 code VFD is now selectable here, and it does start the application. So yeah, that's it for the renaming of the file formats for the 3DS ROM files. I'm going to show you guys how to make your 3DS games show up in the Azahar emulator. What you're going to want to do is head down to select application folder, then go to the left upper corner there, the 3 little bars, head down to the RP5, which is the micro SD, go down to ROMs, then find your 3DS folder and select use this folder. Allow. So now your games will show up in the emulator under the applications tab. As you see here, everything looks awesome. One very awesome thing about the Retroid Pocket 5 is you can connect a Bluetooth controller. We are using the Xbox Series X controller. We're going to go over to the settings. You can use a PlayStation 5 controller as well. Go to connected devices, and we are going to pair a new device. You're going to want to hold down the X button and the button that is on top of the controller for about 3 to 5 seconds until that X button is flashing. Then we'll go down. An Xbox wireless controller comes up now and it'll pair. Just select pair. And the Xbox Series X controller is now paired with the Retroid Pocket 5. And you could navigate all the menus and basically any application with the Xbox Series X controller. The controller is fully working with The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Didn't really have any problems with The Legend of Zelda here. Now let's test it out with another game. This is New Super Mario Bros. 2. And as we select and go through the beginning of the game there, everything is working properly. Go to solo play. New game. This is an amazing way to play your games, especially if you have the Retroid Pocket dock where you could connect this to your TV or your monitor. This is an option for you if you do pick up a Retroid Pocket 5. Another thing you could do to help improve the performance of the 3DS games on the RP5 and increase those frames per second is swipe down on the screen there, go to the performance tab, and you're going to want to change that to either performance or high performance. If you're having trouble with any of the games on the Azahar emulator, this might help. Just know that the fans are going to kick in much louder after you do this. The Azahar settings, we're going to go to the top left corner, the three little dots, select settings. Let's go into general settings. This is to limit your speed limit, speed percent, or turbo speed limit. This is if you want to change the speed of the game. Go down to system, new 3DS mode, use LLE applets. This is your basic stuff. Then go down to gamepad. This is where you're going to change your controls if you need to. Most of the time, I don't change any of the control settings here. I just head down to the hotkeys. So if you want to select a button for you to swap screens or cycle through your screens or quick load, quick saves, that's where you'll do it. Head down to graphics. For the graphics API, I usually select OpenGLES. For the resolution, I usually select 4x native. But if a game doesn't seem to run at 4x, you could come back here and change it to a lower resolution. That might help. We have linear filtering on. We have those top two options on there, enable asynchronous shader compilation. We also have disk shader cache on. Then on disable right eye render, I have that on. This might help your performance by 10%. Async custom texture loading, we have that on. Then back to the layout settings here, and you could change the orientation of your screen here, the landscape custom layout, portrait custom layout. Anything that has to do with the layout of the screens for the 3DS, you could change here. And that's basically it. Now that we have all the boring stuff out of the way, we have the Azahar emulator open with all of our games showing up here. But I actually don't use the Azahar emulator. I use the Emulation Station front end to launch all of the games I have on my Retroid Pocket. This is my favorite way to launch and to go through my 3DS games. When I'm selecting something to play, this looks much better than whatever the Azahar emulator actually shows. It's a bit bland on the Azahar emulator, a bit simple. Look at that. We have 100 games there, starting with Alien Chaos 3D for the 3DS. This seems like an interesting little title. Haven't actually played it. I don't have too much experience with all the 3DS games. Dead or Alive Dimensions, a very fun fighting game that I actually tried for this video. Kid Icarus Uprising, this is one of those 3DS games that I've always wanted to play. Kirby Planet Robobot, I've heard good things. Kirby Triple Deluxe, also heard good things about that. I believe we do have a remaster on the Switch. Kirby Battle Royale, Kirby Extra Epic Yarn, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Have never really tried these RPG Mario games. Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser's Jr.'s Journey or something like that. Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Bowser's Minions, Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, Mario Golf World Tour, Mario Kart 7, one of the best titles on the 3DS, Mario Party Star Rush, Mario Party Island Tour, Mario Party The Top 100. I believe this is a collection of mini games. Mario Sports Superstars, Mario Tennis Open. A lot of Mario games here. Mega Man Legacy Collection. Again, I haven't played too many of these games. I don't have a lot of history with the 3DS. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D. Metroid Samus Returns, another one of those titles that I've heard so many good things about. Metroid Prime Federation Force. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is a hard game to run through Azahar. You do have to lower your resolution a bit there. Monster Hunter Generations, Nano Assault, a small little game. Need for Speed The Run, another fun game on the 3DS, very different from the console version. New Super Mario Bros. 2, one of the only games I've actually completed on the 3DS. One Piece Romance Saga, One Piece Unlimited World Red, Pac-Man and Galaga Dimensions. I do enjoy my Pac-Man games. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. I've heard good things about these games, but I've never tried them. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 2, Pac-Man Party 3D, Paper Mario Sticker Star, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity, Pokemon Rumble Blast, Pokemon Rumble World, Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, Pokemon Art Academy, Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Omega Ruby, Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Ultra Moon. Honestly, the last Pokemon game I played was Pokemon Yellow. Ultra Sun here, Pokemon X, Pokemon Y, Project X Zone. This is one of those titles I've heard so many good things about as well, a crossover game as well. Project X Zone 2. I need to get to these eventually one day. Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology, Rayman 3D, Rayman Origins, Resident Evil Revelations. This game has a lot of trouble running on the Azahar emulator. Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D, Ridge Racer 3D, River City Rival Showdown, River City Tokyo Rumble, Rodea the Sky Soldier. I've heard good things about this game as well. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3D, G-Maker FES, Rune Factory 4, Shinobi. I remember seeing it at Target a lot for $5. I bought it once and then sold it. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal. That Sonic Boom is such an amazing IP. Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, Spider-Man Edge of Time, Spirit Camera The Cursed Memoir, SpongeBob Hero Pants, SpongeBob SquarePants Plankton's Robotic Revenge, SpongeBob Squiggle Pants 3D, Spy Hunter. This is a very fun racing car combat game. Star Fox 64 3D, Steel Diver, also one of those games that came out at launch, I believe. Stella Glow, one of the best titles on the 3DS. Super Mario 3D Land, maybe the best title. Super Mario Maker for Nintendo 3DS. Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, another launch title for the 3DS. Sushi Striker The Way of Sushido, this has also come to Switch. Tales of the Abyss, Tekken 3D Prime Edition, The Alliance Alive. Then we got our Zelda games, The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes, The Oregon Trail, Ultimate NES Remix, WarioWare Gold, Yoshi's New Island, Seventh Dragon 3 Code BFD, Super Monkey Ball 3D, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS, and the last title, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. Also 1001 Spikes, but for some reason that doesn't have any art. That's all the games I have on my Retroid Pocket 5 through Emulation Station for the Nintendo 3DS. So now we're going into New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS. And as you see there, I swiped to the left. We have a little menu here where you could pause your emulation, check your save states, your overlay options, amiibo could show the FPS of what's actually running. You could change a whole bunch of settings here. The landscape screen layout, portrait screen layout. So you could swap your screens. You could go into your actual settings, although you won't be able to change any of the graphics settings during gameplay because that would just mess with the game and the application doesn't want you to do that. So let's play some Mario. Little history with me and the Nintendo 3DS. I've never actually owned the Nintendo 3DS handheld because I was always a PlayStation Vita kid. That was my main handheld of choice. I love the PlayStation Vita, as you guys might know by how many videos I've made on the PlayStation Vita. I love that thing. So back during that time, I only had money for one handheld system, and that was the PlayStation Vita, of course, because I was a PlayStation kid in general. I've always wanted to love Nintendo games. They're very fun games, but they just don't hit with me as much as the PlayStation games do. And the only game I've actually fully completed on the 3DS, well, it wasn't a 3DS, it was a 2DS. That was this game here, New Super Mario Bros. 2. My niece let me borrow her 2DS that I bought her, and I was like, you know what? Let's finally play a Mario game. And I chose not the best one, honestly. I don't think anyone considers New Super Mario Bros. 2 one of the best Mario games. It's a decent game. When you swipe to the right, you could check some of your Azahar settings here. You could check the option there for your PS to show up. You could change the brightness of the screen. New Super Mario Bros. 2, a decent game. Dead or Alive Dimensions was first released May 19th, 2011, and was the first Dead or Alive game to ever be released on a Nintendo console. Fun fact about Dead or Alive Dimensions, this was meant to be a launch title for the Nintendo 3DS, but of course was pushed back 2 months because of the Japan earthquake that caused a tsunami. With Dead or Alive Dimensions, you might get a lot of frame drops depending on what resolution you're running the game on the RP5. Also, when you first launch these games on the RP5, they might struggle a bit because they are compiling shaders. After this first initial time you launch the game, the next time it most likely will run better. There are many ways to set up the two screens for the 3DS here on the Retroid Pocket 5. I click on the right analog stick to change the perspective of the screen, but there might be some slowdown when you are changing the way the screen looks. So just know that you might have some frame drops in between when you do click the R3 or the right analog stick button. Dead or Alive Dimensions is a sort of compilation of all the previous Dead or Alive games, and most of the stages in the game are taken from Dead or Alive 3 and 4. This was the first Dead or Alive game to be released without any involvement from the series creator, Tomonobu Itaki. I've always been very fond of the Dead or Alive series. I really enjoy how fast and fluid these games are when you are dealing with an opponent, and how if you're not careful, you can go down within 10 seconds if an opponent strings you up in a combo. So make sure you try this game out on the RP5 that was made for the 3DS. It deserves to be played. It's an awesome game. Need for Speed the Run, a game released in 2011 for Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 3, Windows, and Xbox 360. This game is hated by a lot of people, not specifically this 3DS version, but when the game released on PlayStation 3 and 360, it did not receive the best reviews. The Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo Wii versions of this game are much different than the PlayStation 3 and 360. This version is more like the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, where players race down freeways until they meet a police car. This version is more cartoon like with the cutscenes. I really enjoyed the Need for Speed, the run game on consoles. It's not a surprise, I ended up enjoying this as well. When they would make racing games for the PSP or the Nintendo 3DS, they were awesome. How fun they would be. They were more arcadey, and this game really pops on the Retroid Pocket 5 AMOLED screen. It looks awesome. I definitely recommend you guys try this out. Kid Icarus Uprising. This was released in 2012, and technically this is a third-person shooter, but I would consider it to be more of a on-rails type of shooting game. And at the time in 2012, this was the first Kid Icarus game to be released since 1991. The game is based loosely around Greek mythology. This is one of those games on the 3DS that I've always wanted to play. I never owned a 3DS, so I was super jealous of everyone that had one. I, of course, was a PlayStation Vita kid, as I've explained in the past. But when this released, I remember going to GameStop or Best Buy and seeing the cover art for this game, and I thought it looked so damn good. I wanted it so bad, but I couldn't play it. I didn't have a 3DS, and at the time, I believe the 3DS was going for around $180. I believe it launched at $250, and then they lowered it. And in case you guys don't know, little fun fact for you, this game was developed by Masahiro Sakurai. Yes, the creator of Super Smash Bros. After he completed work on Super Smash Bros. Brawl, he was asked to develop this game as a launch title for the Nintendo 3DS by Satoru Iwata, RIP the legend, of course. And the game sold more than 1 million copies, which isn't bad, especially since the Nintendo 3DS was really struggling at the time. I'm looking forward to playing this finally on the RP5. It runs great. There's just some hiccups here and there. Just make sure you compile the shaders, close the game, and then go back. And of course, put the RP5 in high performance mode. You can also change the resolution depending on how the game is running for you. And I would really encourage you guys to try this game out on the RP5. I myself have not completed this game, but of course, that is the life of a content creator. We never finish our games. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. This is the second Monster Hunter game released for the Nintendo 3DS. An action role-playing game developed and published by Capcom. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is the new version of the original Monster Hunter 4 game that was released alongside the new Nintendo 3DS. There was a limited edition Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate themed version of the new Nintendo 3DS XL that launched in February 13th, 2015 in North America. This version of the game was only available for that new Nintendo 3DS. I don't think it was playable on the original 3DS, which is why this is one of the harder to emulate games on Azahar. I had to change the resolution to 2x native, but after that, the game ran incredibly well. I'm going to be honest, I don't plan on playing this game again. I just wanted to get some gameplay footage for this game to see if the game actually ran well, just to show it to you guys. I'm not a huge Monster Hunter fan. I'm not into RPGs in general. A couple of years ago, I tried to get into Monster Hunter World and it did not stick with me. It's just way too complicated. I get it. People love them. It's just not for me. There's always those games. They're just not for you. They're never going to be for you. And Monster Hunter is one of those franchises for me. I respect the hell out of Monster Hunter. It is Capcom's highest selling franchise. From all that money they've made from Monster Hunter, they're putting that money back into the games I actually love, like Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Mega Man. So go ahead, Monster Hunter, sell as many copies as you can. I won't play them, but there's people out there that, of course, enjoy these games. And if you want to play Monster Hunter 4 on the Retroid Pocket 5, it's fully playable here at 2x resolution. Resident Evil Revelations is a survival horror game released in 2012. It's developed and published by Capcom. And man, is this game hard to emulate through Azahar with the RP5. It took me a minute to get this game to run. It had so many stuttering issues and a lot of problems before compiling the shaders. Just take a look at this. That is freaking crazy. I wouldn't consider that playable at all. I had to change it from 4x native all the way down to about 2x native, and even then the game was running horribly. And after 2x native didn't work, I changed it to just the native resolution of the 3DS screen. It ran a little bit better, but still had issues when opening doors or shooting locks. Whenever I would shoot, the game would stutter. When I would open a door, it would stutter or freeze for a couple of seconds. I didn't think this was the shaders compiling. I just thought the game ran horribly, but it was the shaders because after this, I closed the game. I launched it again at 4x native resolution, and the game was completely fine, as you will see later on in this clip here. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about this game. This is one of my favorite Resident Evil games. This has been ported to PlayStation 4 and newer consoles. I played it on PlayStation 4. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And when it released on 3DS, everyone was talking about it. It's a console quality game. How is this on a 3DS? I remember everyone saying that. It was crazy to see a game that had this much quality and fidelity graphically being on a 3DS was insane. Here's the game running after I had compiled the shaders. I launched the game again, and all of a sudden, all the issues were gone. I was running it at 4x resolution. I believe I changed it from OpenGLES to Vulkan, and everything was running amazing. Just check this out. This game was a pain in the butt to run on the RP5, but once you get it to run, it runs perfectly. I love Resident Evil Revelations, and you should try it out. I promise you'll love it. It's one of the best games on the Nintendo 3DS, and you could also play it on PS4 and PC, so go ahead. Mario Kart 7. This game was released in 2011, developed by Nintendo alongside Retro Studios. This was sort of a port of the Mario Kart on the Wii, and this was Nintendo 3DS's saving grace at the time. Due to low 3DS system sales, Nintendo needed this game. Would you say this game ended up saving the Nintendo 3DS? It's only the Nintendo 3DS's highest selling game at 18.99 million. I don't have much experience with Mario Kart 7. My nieces and nephews rave so much about this game. They grew up with this game playing on their Nintendo 2DS's. This is their favorite Mario Kart game, and I could see why. It looks so damn good. Of course, this isn't how it looked on the actual 3DS, but running at 4x resolution, 60 frames per second most of the time, the game looks insane on the RP5. You need to see it to believe it. You don't really have to mess around with the settings too much. Just put it at 4x resolution and the game will run insanely well. I am really enjoying playing this. Spy Hunter is a 2012 vehicular combat racing game developed by TT Fusion and published by Warner Bros. Interactive. This game was only released on the Nintendo 3DS and the PlayStation Vita. It was the second reboot of the series, and let's just say it didn't work. Spy Hunter is nowhere to be seen in today's gaming landscape. The game received mixed reviews on both platforms, with a 52 out of 100 on 3DS and a 51 out of 100 on Vita. I love terrible games. There's just something about playing a game that you know is going to suck. You're not really going to get anything out of it. But even then, I really enjoyed trying this game out for this video. I will probably go back to this. I was enjoying my time with the racing mechanics and the combat mechanics of the vehicle. I am a sucker for any racing game that features vehicular combat. Out of all the games I will be showing you guys today, this game played impeccably. It didn't need to compile any of the shaders, it just worked. As soon as I started the application of Azahar and started playing the game, it ran most of the time at 60 frames per second. I honestly don't see what all the critics were talking about when they gave this game bad reviews. I was having a blast. Super Mario 3D Land was released in 2011 for the Nintendo 3DS. The game combines elements from both traditional 2D side scrolling games and modern free roaming 3D games in the Mario series. And you guessed it, the objective of the game is to save Princess Peach once more. Overall, the game has sold 12.88 million copies worldwide as of March 31st, 2024. This is the seventh best selling game for the 3DS. Super Mario 3D Land was received well by critics, receiving an aggregated score of 90 out of 100 on Metacritic. You can only play this on the Nintendo 3DS. It has never been ported to any other console or handheld, but this isn't a Nintendo 3DS, is it? Here's Super Mario 3D Land running on the Retroid Pocket 5. The game looks drop dead gorgeous and looks impeccable on this 5.5-inch AMOLED screen. You're gonna have to let those shaders compile like I've been saying with the rest of the games on this list. But once you do that, this game will run amazingly. And I had no problems running this game on the RP5. You guys should really try this game out. That is all I have for you today on 3DS emulation for the Retroid Pocket 5. I will be back with more 3DS emulation in the future. I would recommend you guys try out some of these games that are quite enjoyable. And if you're like me and have never played the Nintendo 3DS, then the Retroid Pocket 5 is a gold mine for 3DS emulation. I have ordered the Retroid dual screen add-on and the Retroid official dock. So I will have reviews on these products in the near future. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're interested in RP5 content. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like always, I'll see you guys next time.